Okay guys, so tonight's homework's on editing and revising and my expectations for the persuasive essay. So we're going to talk a little bit about editing and revising our Google Doc and then the final turn-in and what my expectations are for that. So let's get started. And please don't forget, anytime you see that pencil, you need to go ahead and take down some notes. All right, so I wanted to really quickly go over editing versus revising. We've talked about this once before, especially the honor students should know this back from our career essay. Some of the regular language arts classes might not have looked at that video, so it's good that we're going over it now. But editing is basically what you do to look for small mistakes, grammar, spelling, typos, punctuation errors, that sort of thing. My personal opinion is that this is something that's easy for you to do. You need to take your time, proofread your document. I should not have to constantly take time out of reading your final product looking for small editing mistakes. This is something you should do. I'm not your editor. You need to be your own self-editor and find these things before you say, I'm done. This is ready to publish. Now, revising is a little bit different. Revising looks for bigger things, sentence structure, organization of your essay, and it forces you to rewrite possibly whole sentences or even paragraphs. So maybe at the end of your essay, you're looking through and you're looking at it and you're realizing that argument one might be better to come right before the counter argument. So you want to switch it to the third body paragraph instead of having it come first right after the intro. That is a revising piece where you're taking one whole paragraph and shifting it or moving it so that the organization of your paper flows better. So revising is a little bit bigger. Editing is looking for small things. Revising is looking at whole sentences or whole paragraphs and forcing you to rewrite or change something, pretty drastic in your essay. All right, so one thing is to think back to our career essay at the beginning of the school year, and if you still have notes from that previous editing and revising video. I asked you guys to write down a checklist for editing and revising, so it might be helpful to go back, grab that checklist, and take a look at it as you go through and kind of mark off what you have looked for as you're editing your paper. So go back to those notes, use those to help you with this essay. And if you feel like you don't remember what those are, I'm going to go ahead and attach the video to the bottom so you can take a look at the video. I'm going to attach it to the bottom of this Sophia tutorial. And for regular language arts, I'll probably add the link in just in case you want to go and have a little bit more feedback and information on revising and editing. But it'll be there as an extra tool or resource for you, just to make sure you're okay. So some revision ideas. There are two options. I need you to pick one of the two options. Either one I think is really going to help you with the revision process. So the first one is called color coding. So what you're going to do is pick 4 to 3 colors. I would possibly say that you should move your Google Doc into Notability so that you can use the pencil feature in Notability to do this. And if you don't remember how to move your Google Doc into Notability, see me if you need some help, or maybe ask a neighbor. But basically, if this triggers your memory, it's where you're going to be in the Google Doc app. You're going to click the gray I for info and say move to or open in, and just click Notability, and it'll move your Google Doc into Notability for you. But anyways, what you're going to do is you're going to pick 4 colors and identify one color. It'd be good if you could give me a legend, a key for this, because you will be turning it in. But pick 4 colors and identify one color for each of the following: simple sentences, compound sentences, complex sentences, and compound complex sentences. We've talked about this a little bit in class already, so hopefully you kind of remember what these sentence types are. But basically what you're going to do is go sentence by sentence through your document and underline them with the corresponding colors. If that's too difficult and you don't quite feel comfortable identifying the difference between a compound sentence and a complex sentence, for example, then an easier version might be to pick 3 colors and just identify a color for small size sentences, medium, and large, and then go through your paper and underline for those 3 different types of sentences. Bottom line though, either way, you need to see a confetti of color. If you're looking at a paragraph and you see all one color, meaning like maybe one paragraph is just full of short or simple sentences, then you need to go through and combine some of those sentences, make them some compound sentences. You should have lots of different varied style of sentences right next to each other. That's how you're going to increase your score for sentence fluency, and it's going to sound better for the reader. Or you could do a paragraph analysis. You're going to create a note in Notability that looks like this. See the example on the next slide. And you're going to go through sentence by sentence on at least one body paragraph. If this feels like something that you really feel is going to be helpful for you, then do it for all of your body paragraphs. But my expectation is you'll do it for at least one. Now remember, I'm giving you these two options. You pick which one's going to be the best for you, color coding or a paragraph analysis. You make that decision. But here's what you're going to create if you're going to do the paragraph analysis. It's going to look like this. All right, so on or in Notability, you're going to create kind of like a table, a chart. In one column, you're going to do number of sentences, and another column, you're going to do number of words in the sentence. Another column, first word of sentences, persuasive word choice, and then citation if needed. So in this column, number of sentences, what you're going to do is basically go through the paragraph and count how many sentences you have. And then you will number that column 1, 2, 3, all the way down for the number of sentences you have. So if you have a paragraph that has 12 sentences, each one of these little lines will be a 1, then a 2, then a 3, and you're going to go row by row all the way down in that column. For this sentence, number of words in a sentence, for sentence number 1 in that row, you're going to count the number of words in that sentence. So if in sentence 1 you have 10 words, you'll write down 10 in that particular row, and so on. So each of these columns are going to tell you something. So for example, I'm going to go back. If you have only 5 sentences in this column, or no, like 3 sentences, you only have 3 sentences in your paragraph. Is that enough detail and explanation? Or have you forgotten a citation, a source, some support for your topic of that argument? That should tell you whether or not your paragraph is too small or too long, or maybe it's right in the middle, and then in that case you're not going to have to fix anything. For this one though, if you see a repeated pattern, like if you see that you have five words in each sentence again and again and again, then you don't have a very varied sentence structure, and you're going to need to go back and fix that. So if you see lots of different numbers appearing in this column, then your sentence structure is looking good. Your sentence type, you've got lots of different sentence types in your paragraph. Now this column, you're going to write down the first word of every sentence. So if you see that you're repeatedly using the word the as your first word of the sentence, you need to go back and fix that. Change those sentences. That's not something you want to be repetitive on. How about your persuasive word choice? Are you appealing to the reader by using emotive language? Are you thinking about the connotation of your words? If not, you need to go back and take a look at that. And then finally, a citation. You should have at least one sentence in every body paragraph that has a citation. So you either need to say yes or no, and I should be able to see when I look at this paragraph analysis that you have one sentence that at least has a citation. Now, you could have more than one citation, right? If you've used more than one fact in your paragraph, you might have more than one yes on here. But I should see at least one sentence that has a yes marked. All right, so what do you do when you're done, typing this whole essay out? Well, first go through spell check and grammar check. You might want to take a look at paperrater.com and/or this is a fun one that I've showed you in class, the telescopictext.com, to help you kind of figure out if you looked at the paragraph analysis and you saw that you have a ton of sentences that are all simple and short. Maybe you could go through and use telescopic text and expand those sentences, make them a little bit bigger and more descriptive. You also should have me come and check your document or dive into your essay since we're using a Google Doc, and I will take a look to see that you have at least the in-text citation in the body of your paper as well as in your counter argument. And then I need to see that you've got your works cited page put together. It should be its own page. It should be alphabetized. There should be hanging indents like what we've talked about in class, and the correct punctuation. So that's what I'm going to be looking for. So once you're ready and you think you're almost done, have me dive into your essay and I'll take a look. All right, you're finished. Honor students, please don't forget to do the digital portion of this homework and answer the quick quiz questions off to the side to prove that you've learned the concept. Regular students, you're just, you're done at this point. You've finished and answered all your multiple choice questions.